Hey guys, how's it going? Firebox here. We're going to be doing an all or nothing challenge on my Barbarian today, meaning that we cannot use our stash, we can only use our inventory. The goal of this is to join games and try to snowball our character, whether it be PvP, PvE, etc. This is going to be the highlights, and this run was pretty good. Hopefully you enjoy the video. Let's go ahead and get started. This is going to be our very first match. We have the starter battle axe, which quite frankly is the worst weapon, if not one of the worst weapons for Barbarian. We find this rogue player, either he's weak or something, but he dies in one hit. We go on and extract from that game and purchase a blue quarterstaff. I think the quarterstaff is by far the most powerful weapon in the game for solo Barbarian. We're here, used a invisible pot. I hear this blue portal, but there is a ranger, as is to be expected in Dark and Darker right now, because rangers are everywhere. We go ahead and push him. Always duck your head down into the ground to try to avoid headshots. We do find this GGR, the helmet piece, which is going to have +1 all stats, which is fantastic for us. We come across this warlock here. When they use their phase shift ability, the best thing you can do is just try to hit them. Just think about in your head about 6 seconds, because that's how long it takes for the phase shift to go away. Also, when they use their BOC ability, make sure you back away, because it has a timer on it. There's no reason to willingly take the 20 additional damage if you don't have to. So you'll see here, I'm playing very kind of timidly. I'm just making sure that I can get as much damage on him as I can without risking my own HP. We kill him flawlessly, and that's exactly how you should do it. Now, we're here fighting a cleric player, and for those of you that do not know, cleric players have a pretty big downside in that if they buff, you can just run away. There's a reason cleric is not the #1 played class in solo play, and it's because of this. So they use their smite ability, they use all their buffs. I back away, shut the door on him. I'm pushing back forward. He's rebuffing himself, so I'm going to go ahead and sit here in the circle and heal. At this point, I use my fists, I move forward, and then I run away again, because I know he has smite, my goal being to make him waste it. So at this point, I know his smite ability is about to be out, so at this point, I'm okay to start pushing. I use my abilities, I know he still has his regular buffs, but with his smite gone, he's really not much of a threat, and we go ahead and finish him off. We also get a pretty nice ring as well, so we're going to go ahead and equip that. This ranger player was bothering us the entire game, constantly running away and taking shots at us, so it was really nice to be able to get him out at the final portal. Now, I'm just very quickly showing off our gear that we got from our runs. Some greens, some blues, mostly whites. Now, this is something I kind of wanted to show off. I feel like rogues right now are kind of annoying to play against. That rogue went invisible, but there's nothing that we could do except wait for 40 seconds for his invisibility to go out, which I feel is like just kind of unfun gameplay. But we do end up killing him off, and we move on. Now, next fight, we have a wizard here. I don't really know what he was doing when he invised and hasted. I feel like they don't understand we can hear footsteps or something. I'm not the best wizard myself, so I definitely understand the struggle. And I'm trying to loot this wizard here. I get the rest of his stuff, and this warlock was bothering us for most of the game too. I was trying to fight him earlier, and he kept running away from us. I'm trying to play a little bit smart here. You'll notice the circle is starting to close in, so I'm getting a little bit worried just because I don't want the circle to close and kill me before I have a chance to kill him, because I honestly think the way he was playing, that he would sacrifice both of our lives before he let me leave, right? So I'm throwing my tomahawks, throwing axes, and I'm trying to get any damage I can. He's using his phase shift again. Phase shift lasts 6 seconds. So I'm trying to get up to him. He's using his book casting. Fortunately, we do manage to finish him off, and this is why the quarterstaff is so strong. We just have so much more mobility using the quarterstaff. Unfortunately, we didn't have enough time to loot his body. I was a little bit nervous because it takes so long for Barbarian to use the portal. And this is something just to keep in mind. Just make sure that you leave enough time at the end of the game to use those. Now, we're going to go ahead and purchase some cobalt ore with the money that we made. With the goal being, hey, let's get ourselves a pair of cobalt life of boots. Pretty bad. That might be one of the worst rolls we could have gotten, but it's okay. At least we have the swag. Now we're sitting here with a fighter. Now the one disadvantage the quarterstaff does have is it's actually pretty easy to block it with a shield. So you'll see even with this guy's buckler, it's very difficult for us to get a hit off on him. So I'm really trying to get this final hits, but now that he has second wind up, he's going to get free heals. We're kind of backing him into the mobs, so I'm just kind of waiting for him to maybe get hit by them. At this point, he's kind of distracted, so I'm going to go ahead and try to heal at least a little bit of HP, since I know he got a bunch of health back from that. He's pushing. We have our abilities. I decide, hey, this is probably a good time. Let's push in there, see if we can finish that fight. Fortunately, we did. We clear out the mobs, loot this guy's stuff. Not a whole lot on him. Now, we're here at the final blue portal, and I swear I heard like a dagger or footsteps. So I'm sitting here. Something nice about the quarterstaff is there's very wide sweeps. And what do you know? It worked. We found the rogue that was hiding. If you're trying to find a rogue and you don't know, just try to just hit the air around where you think they might be. Fortunately, this guy had some cobalt and ruby silver for us. We're going to go ahead and trade for one additional and get powder, because our end goal is to craft a bunch of ruby silver cobalt armor. So we need the space, because again, we're only using our inventory. So we're in this fight against the barbarian. He has missed his Franciscas. We go ahead, we run in. I hit him once and back away. That's something you can do, because you do have access to your abilities that are going to be on cooldown. You can run in there, hit him with your Achilles strike, do some extra damage, back away. In this case, we do end up trading some damage, but we have Franciscas too. We hit our target, and Franciscas just do a crazy amount of damage as well, so we do finish off that fight. Now we're here, and Barbarian has used both of his yells, I believe Warcry as well, so he's really tanky and has his blue shield popped. So I decide to back away. I have no interest in fighting him when he has a huge advantage over us, and I highly would recommend that you do this too, if possible. Between us, we're kind of even now. He doesn't have all of his buffs and a blue pot. I decided to back away and use a red potion just to get a little bit of extra health, because I'm planning on pushing in to the fight here. We do manage to kill him off. A little bit close, but in the end, we do end up killing him. Get a little bit of gear off this guy. Nothing too crazy. Now we're here. I always find it so funny that people are naked in this game. I kind of feel like there should be a bigger downside, because you're just so fast. And I really don't feel bad killing players that are naked, because it tells me that they know enough about the game that they know that it's better to be naked than not because of the movement speed. And I don't think someone who's brand new to the game is going to think, oh, well, I should drop all my clothing because that's better. So we do manage to kill him off, get a little bit more loot. And this player is trying to steal our portal, which I'm having none of. And of course, it's a filthy ranger player. Because of Achilles strike, he can't run away. The 30% movement speed is too much for him. We do kill him at the portal, get his stuff, sell it, and go ahead and start purchasing some cobalt powder for our next upgrade. We're going to get this pair of cobalt leather gloves. Not the best, not the worst. It's an okay pair. Now we're fighting this warlock. Default kit, you still have to be a little bit careful because of the abilities they have. But funnily enough, Achilles strike will kill a warlock when they're phase shift in that. I just thought that was kind of funny. Now we have another player here. He's trying to throw axes at us, but you know, remember what I said about rangers where you duck your head into the ground? Well, it works against throwing axes and stuff too. So we're sitting here and we're pushing him. We have our stuff procced. I think this is probably our best chance to do it, but I do have extra axes. I want to be very careful. Kind of like what I said earlier about shields being very strong about the quarterstaff. I also think that the longsword is too, for people that are trying to parry. So I'm playing this very safely. I'm just throwing all my axes that I can. And again, there it is. He did the parry. If we mess up and let him parry us, he might just kill us in, you know, in one swing. So I'm trying to hit his feet or any places where I can stop him from doing it. He gets another parry off. He misses. We back away and go back in. That's really how you have to play against these fighters. We did get this ox pendant as well, which is kind of nice. We're going to go ahead and purchase this tattered cloak. Now, I had a feeling it was someone from our viewer chat, and I felt 200 was a little bit low, so I went ahead and gave them 300 just to be fair, because I thought it was worth 300. Now, we are fighting this rogue. We throw an axe at him, and he just kind of fumbles, which is always funny. Another guy that's running naked. Don't feel bad about killing these naked players, because, you know, it's just such an advantage having the move speed. I hope they do something about this to make it less of an advantage or a reason to wear lower gear armor. I think it's probably the armor scaling that needs fixed. We're coming across. I was trying to sneak up on this fighter. Unfortunately, he kind of turned around a little quick, but we do kill him in 2 hits. Even a blue quarterstaff is very, very strong with Barbarian and the extra strength that you're going to get. Now, again, another filthy Ranger player hits his own trap, as is typical of the smartest Ranger players I've ever seen in my life. So we do kill him as he runs into his own trap. We're back into another fight. Fortunately, as a Barbarian, we have a quarterstaff and we have Crush. So we break down that door. Now, Warlocks need to be a little bit careful. I'm always a little bit afraid of their BOC ability. And also the, you know, just their ranged abilities that lets them heal off of you too. So even the same with bows and axes, Warlocks too. If you kind of bend your body down, it just makes it a lot harder for them to hit you. It's always good. Now at this point, I haven't seen his BOC ability active, at least at that moment. I decided it's probably time to go ahead and push in. We do kill him, get some decent stuff off him. We kept him kind of locked in the zone, so I knew he was pretty low. Now we do see this cleric. He looks pretty kitted to me. And it turns out he was. We're going to go ahead and take his equipment that we can. We're going to sell this in order to help fund our next armor piece. We're going to go ahead and equip this new ring. Buy some ruby, silver, ore. We need a lot of it in order to afford what we're going to buy. Never do this at home because 13 ruby silver powder that it takes to craft the legs that we wanted to craft is the biggest waste of money I've ever seen in my life. We're going to do it though, and we just spent, you know, 13 powder on probably one of the worst pair of leggings I've ever seen with 3 stats. We're back in another game. See, this guy just killed Troll, and of course we want Troll loot. He just hit us with the Flute of Weakness, so I'm going to back away because I don't want to fight him when we have a really big disadvantage because we're going to lose a lot of armor. Now, at this point, I'm just waiting for our flute to run out. I notice it's almost there. You'll notice as soon as it's gone, I'm back in there, so he can't use it again. Because we have Achilles too, he can't use his movement to try to kite us. We take away his mobility, and it works out pretty well for us. And I figured, hey, I feel like a lot of people might not ever really loot down here, so I thought I would just show this area. It does have a lot of treasure and jewels in it that you can loot. I never kill the troll myself. I always just counter other players that use it. Now, we're here in another game. I figured, hey, why not just show my gear off really quick? So I'm just going over all the pieces I'm using right now. And you know what's funny? You'll notice most of my greens are better quality than most of the armor that I've made. Crafting your own ruby, silver, and cobalt, quite frankly, is just kind of bad. It's almost the same as gambling at the merchant. Most of the times you're just going to get burned. I would just recommend buying something from the shop, unless you're something like me and you just want to do it for fun. Now, we are fighting this warlock here. He hit us with his BOC ability, but, you know, we're kind of getting to the point where, like, our gear isn't that great, but the quarterstaff just feels so strong. As long as you're getting a decent hit on him, you'll be fine. This wizard, I'm not going to let the wizard live. I don't really know what he was doing, but I don't know if he's going to come back and try to fireball us in the back, so he's got to die. We see this barbarian trying to heal at the shrine. I figure he has to be at least a little bit weak, especially now that we hit him as well. So we're just trying to keep spacing because that weapon has very large reach, but it's very slow. I go ahead and use the throwing axes. We do take the hit there, but I wanted to use the axes just to try to, you know, just keep a little bit of range. Because, again, that weapon can do really high damage if you get close by. I think that was the right decision. Just accidentally ended up taking some hits there, but it's okay. Loot this guy's body. He did have a lot of healing on him and axes, which is fantastic. I don't know why he didn't use them, but I'm not complaining. Alright, so here we're getting teamed on, as is typical in Goblin Caves right now, it seems. So we go ahead and kill this rogue player, but we just got completely annihilated by the PvE. And this is why Crush is such an important perk. If we didn't have Crush there, we might have just been dead. We're going to go ahead and back away from all these mobs and try to heal. Also, I don't know how many mobs or if he's going to be chasing, so I go ahead and pop an invisibility potion, because that would have meant if he was chasing us, the mobs would have aggroed him instead. I go back after I'm full health to go kill this guy, because of course, as a filthy teamer, he doesn't deserve to live. We do take him out, loot his body. Nothing too much, but we do get a little bit of extra healing off of him, which is always nice. Find another barbarian. Hit him twice. Barbarians do have a lot of HP, but it does end up working out. He had a blue double axe. Don't underestimate these naked barbarians. That guy could have easily two-tapped us. Just because they don't have a chest piece doesn't mean they're broke or don't have good gear. No barbarians usually will have a chest piece, because it's generally better because you have more mobility, you do more damage, and quite frankly, you just don't need it for solos, and probably teams too. We're fighting this rogue. I don't want him to leave because, you know, why would I? I want to fight him while we have the advantage, which we definitely do now because we just hit him with 2 axes and we have our shield pop procced. So I'm going to go ahead and push him, hit him once more. He might have even hit the trap too, and he go ahead and goes down. He has some stuff, nothing too crazy. The big crackpots aren't really worth taking. Now we're back in the trade menu. We're going to go ahead and buy 5 ruby silver bars because there's a certain piece of equipment I would like to buy. The ruby silver helm. Now, it's a little bit stupid for us to craft this. I wouldn't recommend doing it yourselves, but I decided to do it for fun. And we proceeded to get, again, one of the worst rolled gear sets I've ever gotten in my life. We finally got my full Power Ranger suit, and at this point, I consider the challenge complete. We're going to go ahead and give away our gear to one of our viewers because, quite frankly, just our job is done, and I don't need it anymore. So we give that stuff away, and that's going to complete the challenge. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I would appreciate if you gave the video a like, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see future Dark and Darker content such as this. Thanks all. Have a good day.